Well, darling, there's only one God. Darling, there's only.
Welcome to the Dirty Bag Podcast. I'm your host, Cookie, and we got the homie back today. This is not by any means a newbie at the Dirty Bag Podcast. It is the award-winning, because we got to put some respect on her shit, award-winning organizer, curator, dope black woman, Kris Blackmon. Kris, what's good?
What's up? I'm like a regular for real now.
No, for real.
I'm here for it.
You kicked off season one. You damn near closed out season one. All roads lead back to Kris.
Yes. Get into it.
What you been up to?
Man, managing, maintaining, with all of the craziness in the world, and
Right.
my personal life has some losses, so I've been managing grief, but grateful, thankful to still be here to celebrate a birthday. What else? Creating. So I had a show that opened a couple weeks ago, Scene, a love letter to Black, queer, and trans folks. So that opened with a really great reception. Folks are already asking, am I going to bring it back and do it again next year? So it looks like I probably will. And working to do I Still Love Her. It'll be the 9th year. So that'll be opening at the beginning of August. So yeah. And then I'm gonna kind of like chill a little bit. And
you always say that.
Work on some stuff for next year. Some bigger projects that I'm trying to get going and finish a couple projects and work on some big stuff that I want to do for next year. So kind of not going to be like out in the public doing stuff, but finishing some things up behind the scenes. So, yep.
Okay, so hold on. We got to pause. So we're talking about all the stuff you're doing. We got to stop and smell the roses real quick because you had a big weekend.
I did.
Talk about
it. Shout out to Workfest, Trayvon and Shelton. So Workfest is it's really a show. It's really an experience celebrating Black, queer, and trans and non-binary artists. So it's a show with a lineup full of amazing artists, and they also honor a couple people that are doing work in the community. So they give out a Community Advocacy Award and an Arts Impact Award. Right. So shout out to Ohan O'Shea. She got the Community Advocacy Award, and I got the Arts Impact Award. And man, like I shared this on my post, but I've gotten awards in the past, and like, of course, humbled, grateful, thankful, honored, and all of that. But I mean, when I say they like went all out,
I saw the video.
Yeah, like video shoot, photo shoot, the accommodations. Like I had like an acceptance speech. Like they really went above and beyond to honor us, to honor Black queer folks that are doing stuff in the region. So basically the award was for my impact on the art and cultural scene here in St. Louis. So it was great. I had a ball. It was super nice, and yeah, it was a great way to close out my birthday weekend.
Yeah. Look, and I've come into Club 40.
Yeah,
you told me it was gonna be like this.
Man,
I said,
Yo, it's an experience. Like it's a thing. Some people told me, so now I've turned 41, and so now I'm 40-ish, which is still very surreal to me. It's wild. But a lot of people told me like 40 is just another, I don't know, like a portal opens or something. No. But I feel like hopefully for folks, at least for me, like just much more clear on where you're going and how you want to do it and who the fuck you want to have in your life while you're making it happen.
That part, no, that part. Because I feel like over the years, we kind of went through these little seasons where you had to, and I have too, or we had to assess who's had access to our space, who got best interest at heart, what's transactional, what's convenient, and what's really low-key harmful. Yes. So I feel like this is a stage where, because I woke up one day and it was recently and it was just like, man, you got me fucked up. Like I just knew, like, hey, you gotta go. There was a season when this was a thing, but I can't, you ain't coming here.
Absolutely. And if it was people that I still felt like I still wanted in my life, but there was some stuff that I needed to say to like get us back on a very good level playing field, that I needed to articulate that. Because what I also realized is that with therapy, getting older, all of that in the past, I'm very much, oh, it's good. I'll work through it myself. I'm not going to speak to whatever to like avoid tension or like rocking the boat or whatever. But like being straight up honest about, you say you love me, you value me, you honor me, then show that shit, because I feel like I do that for people in my life that I say I love and I care for, so I need those relationships to be reciprocal. And, people are either going to fall in line or they not. And so from there, you do what you will. So
calling out lip service.
Yeah. So it's been a really interesting space to be in, especially after coming off of, super dark, depressive state and all of that, to still be here. Like God blessing me to still be here. And then, I had therapy right before my birthday, and she was like, look where you are, like from there to now. Cause I said I was in just a state of gratefulness. So yeah, it's lit. Even with all the fuck shit in the world.
Cause we finna get into it.
To keep you not be lit, it's fucking lit. So yeah. And fuck all
the work ties into the fuck shit. It's like you can't separate.
And all of the like stuff we were fed as children in society, from movies, film, whatever, to make us feel like this age right now is too old or we're too past whatever. We should have done this in 20-ish or 30. Fuck all of that.
It's so much you could have did during that time. I feel like,
honestly, this is the time where you actually live, because you're actually, again, clear and you're ready to receive it. And you're ready to know exactly which path you need to go to make that shit real. So, and make that shit pop. So like, I'm excited. I'm excited what's next for me, what's in store for me. Same for you.
It's a good space to be. It's like, because to me, 30-year-old me and 20-year-old me can't handle this. There was some shit that I needed to go. You realize, like somebody said the other day, things are not happening to you, it's happening for you. So a lot of them things have molded you into who you are. Because I remember someone telling me life don't start to you like after your 40s, and I was like, I mean, you're close to that. But I mean, it's a state of gratefulness. It's a state of you're unapologetic about just doing what the hell you want to do, and knowing that you took your lickings and you fell on your ass, but you ain't finna talk to me any kind of. It's like the season of you ain't gonna talk to me any kind of way.
Yeah, and recognizing what really matters and what doesn't, and who matters and who fucking doesn't.
Yeah. That validation that you look. Do you ever look back on like validation that you, and we can all be honest about this, where you've probably needed validation from places that you really didn't need it. You felt you needed it because you felt you needed to be in that space, or you put people on pedestals you had no business putting them on. So you look at it now like I needed me. I didn't need you to give me shit, because who are you? And you battling your own demons, and half of what you're doing, it could be a facade. So when you realize like you wanted acceptance and stuff from like all the wrong damn people, and whatever, platonic, romantic, whatever, just business, creatively, like did I really play myself like that? What the entire hell? No. That part.
That part. That's real.
Yeah.
So it's been a great journey. And I'm looking forward to what's next. And, I feel like God is going to guide me in that right direction. And that's another thing too, like being obedient and recognizing what's for me and what's not.
Yeah.
Because that's the thing too, we get caught up in like, oh, we should be doing, like me being clear on like what's for me and what I'm called to do.
Right.
In every lane. And not allowing outside situations, forces, or people to get me off that. So 40 has been good, and I look forward to 41. And hopefully God keeps me here to keep creating and keep fucking shit up.
But you stay in I think the big thing is also, there's a message here, guys, about staying in your lane and not feeling the need to do XYZ because it seems like the wave, it seems like the right thing to do. It seems like it'll get you to whatever reward or whatever it is you think faster.
Because it's not like I haven't thought about, oh, maybe I should be doing this, or like, oh, this person has, like, of course we have those moments. And I'm not acting like I haven't felt like, oh, I should have been doing this, or I should be once I got all that shit and just was very much okay, this is what I'm called to do, and answer that call and move in a way that feels right in my spirit, and I feel like feels right with the creator. Like I'm good because the shit's gonna come because people ultimately
They watching.
The real shines through. You know what I'm saying? So like when you real and true and move with integrity and move with the right intention. What's gonna come for you is gonna come for you, period.
Right.
What's and what everybody else do, that don't fucking matter to me. Cause honestly, we can all pop. So I don't have time to wait on or worry about what somebody else is doing when I got hella shit that I'm doing. When you doing your own shit and staying on your own lane and your own path, you don't have time to worry about other people's shit. So that's just really how I look at it. I got way too much shit I do. Way more ideas and projects that I'm working on. I don't have time to worry about what somebody else is doing. I just, like I said, try to move with the best integrity and like, okay, this feels right for me. I can achieve that and challenge my own self to create more things that I haven't seen before, maybe others haven't seen before, and it's gonna hit how it hits.
Yeah, and I mean, the more you create, like you open up opportunities for you to do something different. Like I think the response from the community always kind of leads you to your next mission also. Like when people are impacted by your work, they'll bring up something that you hadn't even thought about. And you're like, oh, okay, well maybe we can do that, or we can explore that, or we can do whatever. But it's just knowing you in the right space and just being good. But that therapy though, and that knowing and being right with yourself, you have to be.
You have to, because you have to be grounded. You know, especially if you're doing anything that's, you know, causing you to be in the public, and being interacting with a lot of people, interacting in community, whatever that is, you have to be grounded and sure of yourself. Yeah, because there's gonna be a lot of people with thoughts, opinions, and shit to say.
Somebody always got something to say about some shit they ain't never done or that they don't even support. Opinions. I'm gonna talk. Look, she might listen to this, and you know what?
We're gonna get into it anyway.
We are.
That's gonna fall in line to all
it's gonna fall in line. I had somebody DM me one day, and she was just kind of like, you know, with the platform, like, we got to get your subscribers up, and I was like, all right, well, tell your friends to pull up. And it was just like, always. And then she kind of gave me some advice on that particular episode for the guest that was on. I talked to you about this guest. She's like, yeah, she ought to go see so-and-so about her health. And I was like, if you listen to the episode, she had been going to Africa, being trained and bringing herbs back. And it was like, oh, I got to listen to the episode. I said, I'm sitting there like, wait a minute. So you just sat up here and told me what I needed to do for my shit, but you didn't even listen to. So it was just one, I mean, and maybe she meant well, or maybe it was just a moment, but it was like, you got to be, I felt myself having to check myself. It was like, do you know what you're supposed to be doing? Are you on the right path? Should nobody be giving opinions that ain't rocking, that ain't riding? If you ain't in the gym shooting, you got to just stay in the locker room. And that's kind of where what I've really had to get to with people is that if you are in the locker room, your opinions do not matter. It just doesn't. But it took me a minute because my feelings would be like, why'd they say that? It's like, girl, shut up. You taking like, you begin offended by folks that ain't living in their purpose, ain't going after nothing they want. Why would you listen to anybody that's not pursuing the things they're passionate about? Because there's a correlation there. If people are not necessarily happy where they are, or not necessarily happy, but they got some shit they sitting on, they probably not going to encourage you too much because they not even doing the things that they know they called to do. Out of fear, whatever. So it took a minute, but getting into community and you knowing kind of who deserves what, because you know it's going to always be some foolery, and it's always that foolery that ties into the work. Your thing has always been, or primary thing of yours has been standing up for Black girls and Black women. So you know we had an interesting... Let's go. We've had an interesting... little turn of, you know, every once a year something comes up with an entertainer, someone, and then we see what side of the aisle folks stand on. And it takes you to a place. So music, obviously you're passionate about music, but the conversation has always come up about separating the artist from the art. So we know R. Kelly, we spoke about this, got a little bit more time on his hands, and it brought people out.
Right back with the same goddamn conversation that we've been having on repeat.
But now it's at an interesting time on repeat because this all comes out at the same time we're dealing with Roe v. Wade and all these. So when we have these kind of events come up, it gets really interesting to see how folks move. So now we got the government trying to control our uterus, and folks finding ways to not protect what comes out of that uterus. So go ahead and give it. I know what I saw on my end in the responses to this man and what he don't deserve. It's comical at this point, right? It's laughable.
It's so comical, it's so laughable, and it's also very just disappointing and frustrating. But yeah, so I'll say this, because people like to do the whole, well, what about type shit all the time. And ultimately, this isn't just about R. Kelly, right?
Right.
And so I'll get to that in a second, but out of all of the actions, protests, and all of the different shit I've done, the most pushback, feedback, motherfuckers mad at me was an action against R. Kelly.
They definitely tried it. The mute R. Kelly.
When we did a mute R. Kelly action here, I connected with folks from the National Mute R. Kelly movement, all Black women, right? He was coming here for a concert, and I was like, yo, no, this isn't fucking cool. So, organized an action. It was out there in St. Charles, a family arena, and we had a decent showing. But when I say people were fucking mad at me, like, I had debates with men who I thought I had somewhat of a relationship or a rapport with, motherfuckers that I stood on, like, who I stood on, protest line and fighting against, like, economic justice work, all kind of shit, telling me I hate Black men, telling me that I'm the problem. Of course, right. I'm this, and it doesn't help that I'm gay, right? It doesn't help that I'm also a lesbian.
Y'all can't stand Black men.
Of course, now, like, I'm a He-Man man hater or some shit, right? That was the most pushback I had ever had. And I was so confused that this was even conversations that were being had, because it would seem as if this is very clear and there's really, like, no way to be like, well, what about, like, I felt like this is pretty much, it's very clear. It's very, like, it's no vague shit. It's no, like, gray area in this. But I was wrong. But what was helpful for me as well was, I really only had one male friend that really even supported and helped us do the mute R. Kelly shit here, like in deep detail. And he's originally from Chicago, so he actually had seen R. Kelly at high, so he knew. Like, because that's the funny thing. If you talk to motherfuckers from Chicago, they all know. They vouch for it. Yeah, they can vouch for this shit. This wasn't like we got the information late. They was like, oh, this.
They grew up knowing.
Right? Yeah, and so where he challenged me though was of the way in which originally being thoughtful of my language and being thoughtful of the way in which like the words around like monster, deviant, and all these different type of words, and just challenged me to think about R. Kelly as the boy. So this is where I'm finna get at, right?
Okay.
Because like R. Kelly was abused, right? And this is why all of this shit is wild to me, because nobody wants to address who was the abuser that then abuses, that person then becomes someone who abuses or harms, right? Because nobody wants to be fucking real and talk about the generations of abuse and harm that happens with our families.
Right.
R. Kelly is your daddy, your mama, your uncle, your auntie,
nobody
your
wants
cousin,
to talk about
brother. That's that, right?
Mm-hmm.
But the problem is because you have motherfuckers that be like, well, I ain't gonna stop. And I'd be like, why is this the hill you want to down? But okay.
Why you want to brag about it, first of all?
Yeah, it's so fucking weird.
It's
like,
strange as shit.
It's so strange. Like, that's your rebuttal every time. I'm like, hey, listen to R. Kelly. I'm not personally going to listen because I think it's fucking gross, because in this case, you can't separate art from artists.
The music, you are not alone. When I found out that was written about, one of the girls that he messed around with, they got pregnant and ended up having a miscarriage. It was about her.
The life and the abuse and harm that he did was in the art. So you cannot separate it, right? There is no separation. So, hey, but my issue comes is when you go to concerts, and when I say going to that and protesting that concert, I'm seeing parents taking their teenage daughter to R. Kelly concerts still, right? Like, what?
And you notice how everybody wants to come for everybody but him, and that's another big thing about the conversation. Well, they family shouldn't have, they parents shouldn't have, they people want to talk about everybody but him, and there's okay. We can do that.
Yeah, we can talk about parents. Absolutely. We can talk about the people in his camp, enablers. Absolutely. Do I think that those people should be held accountable? Absolutely. Yeah. But my problem comes is that we never want to hold motherfuckers accountable for shit. And I'm so sick of the white, what about white, insert whatever white
girl,
person.
They done brought Elvis into the... I said, how the hell did Elvis get a part of this?
Yeah, we know white niggas is fucked up out here. They gonna white people, they gonna do what the fuck they do. But when are we ever going to hold our people accountable for us harming our people?
That's the problem. Do y'all really, first of all, do y'all really care about what's going on with these white girls? I mean, I guess actually some of y'all do, but y'all, why are we worried about their community? Because y'all say everything, when we bring up stuff, y'all say it's white man stuff. No, that's white supremacy. But then when we talk about things like this, all of a sudden now you care about what's going on.
Y'all sound like when white niggas all lives matter are shit.
Yeah.
That's what the fuck y'all sound like, because y'all always come with what like that. Do we speak to what we speak about? What white supremacy, whiteness, how that shows up, the harms around that?
We know they're inherently dangerous. They enslaved us. They enslaved us and they raped us. So what do you mean they raping?
And
yeah, they raped us.
And also recognizing how that also shows up in community with us and how we harm each other as Black folks. I recognize that shit. Because people always come with all these shit I'm finna debunk. I recognize that shit. I recognize how systems work, the judicial system, the biases in that. I get all of that shit, because I also was seeing people bringing up, what's her name that was with Epstein who got 20 years.
Oh, yeah. What is her name? We know who we're talking about.
I be calling her Giselle, and that is not her name.
She looks like a Giselle. A shriveled up...
People brought that up. And yeah, it is fucked up that she may have gotten 20 and that she was 30. But here's a couple things. One, and I also recognize that she, in addition to being an enabler, she also engaged probably in also abuse. However, y'all are sitting here acting like this man was not the main culprit, the man being R. Kelly, in the abuse, and that this shit does not date back. Because people was like, oh, this happened all these years. This shit with him at least dates back to the early 90s. Right. Nigga, we are in 2000, whatever the fuck, when he went to jail. What are y'all talking about?
How do we forget about did you get your shots? How are we forgetting about this video in Africa when he is singing to these girls in the crowd, asking them if they got their shots and do they want to come to America? He had the background singer singing. So it's just... We
have the music, we have videos like that. We have the other videos where he said literally out of his mouth, they should have came and got me on this X amount of years ago. This man has let's go back to when he had the fucking interview with Ed Gordon when all the shit first came out and he kept saying, I have a problem. This man has told you inadvertently that he does these things. Yeah. But the enabling, so y'all talking about, oh, well, the people that help, y'all are also enabling when you are not honest with the fact that this man has caused harm. You're also enabling when you buy a ticket. You're funding this man to abuse. So if you want to listen to that nigga in your bedroom, cool, that's nasty, but sure, go ahead.
I'd listen.
But when you go and you stream that shit, that is funding him. When you go and you bought a ticket to go see him still in 2000, whatever year it was, after all of this shit has come out,
all is now
funding abuse.
Because we're fully educated. Like a lot of us, like our age range was like, yeah, but y'all was. I'm like, do you know how old we were? First of all, we didn't know any better. We knew we were going off what adults were saying, and this, that, and the third. And then they bring up the fact that, well, some of y'all was getting picked up from the school bus, and now y'all. It's the stupidest thing I've ever heard.
Sick. Because again, it goes back to, so are we comparing the mind of a teenage girl versus the mind of a grown-ass fucking man?
Right.
Or woman, right?
Right, because old women are the worst with this.
That's a whole other conversation.
He don't even want y'all. Y'all up here defending him, baby. He wasn't singing to you. So it's so funny. I feel like y'all are the mothers that would know that your man wants your daughter and you wouldn't say nothing. The way y'all defend this man,
and so again, that goes back to like, we talking about art. Let's talk about how this artist, it shows up in real life, to what you just said, right? To people that allow abuse to happen, people that turn a blind eye to the abuse, some people that actually orchestrate it to happen, right? So of course you don't give a fuck about R. Kelly listening to him or taking your underage child, knowing that this man has abused all of these years. And then you want to bring in, well, he started messing with older women or of age women and all of that. So again, y'all don't give a fuck. Y'all didn't give a fuck about black girls, and y'all don't give a fuck about black women.
His wife told y'all how she got treated. So y'all, who was a grown woman, how he had her locked in the room and she had to knock on the door to get food. Yeah. Y'all are even ignoring how he treated the grown woman. So it's at this point, this is how I look at it. I look at people that defend R. Kelly or try to find ways to bring up his art and how he the king of R&B. I look at them the same way I look at folks that focus a little bit too much on queer people. This is my thing. When you keep saying stuff like, well, they parents and, well, you can't deny his talent, didn't it? When you go a little too hard, I feel like there's a story attached to you. I feel this way about a lot of situations. There's somebody somewhere that's been touched by you, or you done been touched by somebody and you ain't dealt with it because you're going a little bit too hard for some shit that, number one, is recorded. Everybody has seen that damn tape. So for you to go that hard, I feel like there's a story behind you. There's no way you doing all this just because of Step in the Name of Love and because of 12 Play, when there's so many different artists out there. Just say that you done been touched or you done touched somebody. I said, these are the kind of people I don't trust around little girls. I feel like y'all are the uncles at the cookouts that people got to watch the kids around. You are the mother whose daughter probably got a story. And she probably, I just feel like I feel like abusers and those that have been abused have ways of telling on themselves in multiple ways, and this is their way of telling on themselves. And you can't convince me different. That little meme that was going around about if R. Kelly have a concert tonight for free, how many of y'all going? And I was looking at these comment sections like, it's not the flex y'all think it is to brag about wanting to, especially when you got kids.
It's not the flex that you think about.
No,
that you think it is at all. And I get we are human, right? We all have our shit. We all have flaws. We probably all have caused harm, whether intentionally or not.
That's real.
And we have problematic faves, right? We have artists or people that we enjoy who we got to side eye some of the shit they've done or said. I get all of that.
Right.
And so I'm use myself as an example. And I get it. We're human. So sometimes we contradict the ways in which whatever. Like one of my most favorite fucking male singers is Marvin Gaye. Marvin Gaye has a very, very dark cloud over him as it pertains to how he has done harm to women, particularly his wife, right? Mm-hmm. Her being underage, him abusing, things like that. So I'm not sitting here saying like, you're just so, it's the way, but I can acknowledge that and say that and be like, yo, that's fucked up.
You won't fight his accountability.
But I'm not going to make it seem exactly. I'm not going to make it seem as if this, like, I'm not going to not speak to that or act as if, oh my God, no. And for one, and for two, like, when do we ever draw a line in the sand? It's just some motherfuckers that I just can't anymore.
This one is, I mean, the tape should really, how's the tape not doing it?
And because I've also had people be like, well, you probably didn't like, I was a huge fucking, who wasn't? If you grew up in the fucking 90s, you loved fucking R. Kelly. Like, it was a thing.
We were, but we were also kids.
I'm just and that part, right?
Again, it goes back to the child. You're not going to hold me accountable as a child for not understanding.
Tell me that, well, you was probably listening to 12 Play. Yeah, I was listening to 12. I was in fucking middle school, dog. Like, what are you talking about? Like, you're talking about a mind of a child versus a mind of an adult. That doesn't even go.
I didn't know anything about what he was doing. And then, I mean, I heard rumors about Aaliyah. Again, we don't allow black kids to be kids. I heard some girls don't look their age. One dude kept saying this one day, and I'm like, bro, how many underage girls have you slept with? Because you doing a little too much. Me, I feel like even as a grown woman, I can see through makeup. I'm sorry. All the contours in the world, I feel like I can spot a baby. I can spot a little, it don't matter. Them heels don't do nothing for me. The minute you open your mouth to speak, as an adult, there are some things that y'all got to quit making excuses for, and y'all gonna keep doing it. But I feel like every time these conversations come up, I clean out who I associate with. If I even I clean it out.
Same.
I
Because
clean it out.
honestly, when do we draw a line in the sand of like, okay, like at this point, I just can't fuck with this artist anymore. Like, because people be like, because even though I'm saying problematic faves, there are a lot of artists that I don't support the same, that I don't listen to. R. Kelly has been one. I don't fuck with Fabulous the same anymore.
Oh Lord, him.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
like Erica Badu was one of my. She's probably the number one problematic fave because she has said some very out the way, like
Some strange things.
caping for R. Kelly, talking about girls in short dresses and how like being very like putting the onus on girls that they need to look a particular way so men don't. That weird shit, right?
Sexualizing. This
So
people
like,
be sexualizing kids too much for me, and I just,
yeah, you know.
I have a problem.
So
with
like,
that.
there are a lot of artists that I don't support the same, that I don't look at the same. And I'm not being like, if you do, you do. But if I speak to that, I have a right to, just like you have a right to still listen and say you support, I have a right to speak to why I don't. I have a right to speak to the fact that this person has continuously caused harm or has done fuck shit. If we ain't talking about abusive shit, motherfucker, I stopped fucking with Kanye. That was my motherfucking nigga. Right? Like I have a list of motherfuckers that I don't fuck with the same. And I'm not saying that I'm so self-righteous and I have it all right. I'm not saying that at all. But I'm saying for me, there are times where I had to definitively at some point say, I am not gonna support this motherfucker the same. Because it ain't no art separating artists, right? A motherfucker, like it's not that for me.
I mean, your art
because
is tied into your darkness.
Especially when it is causing harm to our people. Especially if it's not helping to liberate our people, then I'm sorry, because you can say, oh, it's just entertainment or they're just this, but they influence fucking culture. They influence how people think and move. It as much as you don't want it to be that, it does.
It does.
So like,
literally,
just like I can't sit up here and say I'm for black women and girls, and then motherfuckers be like, oh, Kris be out here motherfucking wilding. Kris is out here abusive. I would have to be held accountable for that if that was to happen, right? Mm-hmm. And people would look at me like, wait a minute, right? And also, I'm gonna say this, and because I'm also so sick of people having accountability be equating like to cancel culture. Because honestly,
cancel culture.
I'm actually not for cancel culture, because in my opinion, cancel culture is actually rooted in white supremacy and whiteness. Because typically when black people do shit, what do niggas want to do? They want to throw us completely the fuck away forever. So I'm actually not a cancel culture motherfucker, but I am an accountability motherfucker.
Yeah.
And I am like, we're going to speak to this. We're going to talk about the harm and we're going to do work. Also, you can't say, okay, yeah, I did this thing, and then there's no work done in between. There has to be restitution. There has to be work that has happened to correct harm.
Yeah. No work to correct harm. And I think
just
that,
be like, oh yeah, no. Like, Chris Brown, people want to keep bringing up the fact that was so long ago with Rihanna. No, it ain't just about Rihanna. This man has
continued on after her.
Rihanna.
I'm like, y'all, it didn't stop with her. She was just the most.
It did not start and stop with her.
It didn't.
So like, stop.
She moved on. Whatever.
But listen to him, like I said, do your motherfucking thing, but quit totally ignoring or like just having these rebuttals and the debates on shit when somebody say, actually, nah.
Stop arguing with folks who feel a type of stop. First of all, people that are triggered by people that have been abused. First of all, it's y'all trying to silence people that have been abused. That's where the real harm comes in now, because what you're telling me is whatever it is I went through that makes me feel this way also, you don't give a shit about me. So now there's a totally different conversation. Like I can't trust, you're not somebody that's a safe space for me. And I think people miss that. Like you so concerned about proving that you gonna rock behind this artist that you can't rock behind me.
And like you said,
know me.
So for me, a lot of those times I have to look at, okay, well, how do you operate in real life? We want to say, oh, that's just entertainers and they this and they da.
So what do you do?
Not realizing this is culture, period. This is the shit that happens in our families with our friends. And if you sitting up here going hard for a nigga that you don't know, I know you're not going hard for a nigga. I know you're going hard for a nigga that you do fucked up shit, who you know has caused harm, who you know has assaulted. Like,
And we've seen it though.
For that nigga, I know you going hard for your homeboy or for your brother or for your whoever. You're not actually calling them out, holding them accountable, pulling them to task to say, nigga, do better. Because that's what it always be about for me. People be thinking, why do I go so hard? Or why do I be so... It be honestly about the liberation of Black people. I want us to be our best fucking selves. I want us to get free. And we won't get free if motherfuckers have this type of thinking, because we're causing harm.
Facts.
And also, again, I get it though. Because that's the thing, all of that shit that people come about systems, about, generational motherfucking traumas and all that shit. I recognize how that shit works. I recognize how
you see the root
happened with our ancestors. All of that shit is in our unfortunately is there. I get all of that shit. But when do we make a choice to try to do better and be better? And I'm not the type to be like, Black people, I'm not a black on black crime type of nigga. No, because I recognize that shit. However, there has to be some point where we at least speak. Like, again, it's about speaking to and holding niggas accountable, and then doing work to correct harm. To say, you know what, we are gonna speak about this shit.
It's cherry picking now.
We are going to speak about this shit that has been happening for all these different generations. We are going to talk about this shit because we finna break this shit right now.
But we only do it when it's convenient. When we talk about community and taking care of families, because these same cats was going hard about some goddamn McDonald's though. They was going hard about the McDonald's and why the kids didn't deserve nothing. So it was like, okay, so y'all pick and choose when y'all want to be about community. So, okay, y'all couldn't wait to drag this girl over. First of all, it was a skit. It was a skit. The whole thing was fake. It was fake. And now we found out the dude asked the girl to do it. For him to go viral, he getting paid and she ain't getting the cut. Ain't that so crazy how these things are coming full circle? So y'all don't look out for Black women and kids in no way. It just came out yesterday. She did an interview on somebody's podcast. I said, oh my God, the layers here and how this really ties into our community. Y'all don't look after...
That, you know what? That was a social experiment.
I don't think she didn't realize she didn't. I said, wait a minute.
She didn't. They inadvertently did a social experiment.
Yeah.
Niggas talking about that shit for I don't know how many days.
They were still in the comments telling her she was lying. It was like on her page, she clearly got one kid. So y'all will not protect Black girls. Y'all look for opportunities to drag Black women to the point where this fake scenario, you can't accept it as fake because you were so ready to drag her because y'all don't care about Black kids. Y'all pick and choose, but when it comes to y'all, well, mass incarceration destroyed the Black
And ain't that wild? Because within the same week is when the R. Kelly shit hit, if I'm not mistaken. So y'all was having this conversation about how the kids, but then you turn around and it's like so tore up about this nigga going to jail when he's harmed the kids. I'm so fucking confused.
It's so much. It's like, what do y'all want? What do y'all really want? What's the goal here? Tell me what y'all, I almost want to ask. Tell me, Black men, especially y'all defending him, what is y'all liberation goal? Tell me what it looks like. Because what I'm learning so far is y'all don't want to be on child support. You want to be able to touch little girls because white men touch little girls. You want to be able to call women out for how they move, for agency.
Because then niggas started bringing up Elvis. And I'm like, this nigga been dead.
This fool been dead for how long? Y'all, and the thing is, y'all never talked about him until, I guess he has a movie. I didn't even that.
Yeah, he had a movie come out.
I didn't know because I don't keep up. Because again, I don't keep up with them. You see how that works? I don't keep up with them and know what's going on. And then I was seeing
people talking, what about Woody Allen? Woody Allen had his daughter did a whole motherfucking documentary on him.
I think his blood called him out. So again, and I think what's also interesting about that, and look at it like this too, with what is the statistics on sexual abuse? Or is it like 1 in 5 or something like that? I'm not sure on the exact numbers, but for the ratio of it, don't none of y'all know one person. You mean to tell me you don't know one suspect cat? Y'all don't know one. Stop playing, dog. You don't know.
I say that shit all the time. Are the ones that be like, yeah, you know, I'm with women, I support women, and that shit fucked up, and then the minute it's a motherfucker you like,
okay.
Then it's, well, wait, hold on. Nah, nigga, you just said you was riding with us on this shit. That you fuck a nigga up who was abusing a woman. But the minute it be a nigga you like.
So what does that mean? So accountability can't happen when there's favor involved. So as long as so if it's somebody suspect, because we talk about queer, y'all are quick to say that this is why these perverts can't be around our kids. They grooming our kids. And somebody said this, and I was like, whoo. She said, you know what? Y'all talk about gay folks grooming our kids, but y'all got a groomer on y'all playlist. Okay.
Come on.
Okay.
Because it's okay. Now it's gay people and trans people.
Okay, it's gay people and trans people that are touching these kids. Okay, got it. So if it's something that makes you uncomfortable, you'll try to attach it to that. And then I'm like, you know how many queer women out here taking care of the kids? Y'all don't want to pay child support? Don't get me started.
Come on. Oh, please don't, because
don't do it. Don't make me.
I've been one of those queer women. Okay. I've been one of those queer women dating a woman with children, and their daddy was not fucking present.
Listen,
and to be clear, I wasn't trying to be another. I wasn't looking at it like, oh, I'm the stepdaddy or I'm the daddy. No, I was a woman dating another woman who had children, and their fucking biological father was not present. But you want to tell me how we trying to destroy whatever? Nah, nigga, you destroying the shit. I'm not destroying the shit. Actually, I've come in and been a great mother. I've had someone I dated many moons ago, and their child is an adult now, and they told me recently how much I taught them, how much they appreciate me, how much they learned from me.
Come on.
Because their father was not present.
That McDonald money didn't bother you?
So it's funny because I see a stat that I reassured that somebody was like a stud with a broad food for the whole. And
every stud in my circle has always took care of some dude's kids. There's not. I can't name one.
Non-stud, mad shit. You know,
I can't name one that didn't step about somebody's kids. I can't name one.
I love the kids.
They used to get mad, would break up, and then be mad as hell that they couldn't see the kids no more. They be wanting to take y'all to court after the breakup. I saw somebody one day. I ain't gonna say who it is because you probably gonna know who it is. But they broke up with somebody, and they went down the list of relationships that they'd been in where each woman had kids. And they was basically saying they missed all these kids. Like on Mother's Day, they kind of wanted to hear from them. And I was like, dang. So technically you step mama to a whole bunch of kids, and you mad, you feeling a type of way because you bonded with those kids, but y'all ain't ready, but y'all worried about gay folks that want to do the jobs y'all don't want to do in community. They tried to eat me up on TikTok when I was talking about like, y'all about community or not, but this $2 cheeseburger, y'all not understanding mentorship. So that stuff don't matter now because it's a ghetto baby mama, which really wasn't. Y'all pick and choose when y'all are about community. And what I had to bring up, I'm like, I was raised by my grandfather primarily. And in St. Louis, he was a coach. He was a rec center coach. So that man would work all day for the city of St. Louis Park Division out there in the heat. He would come home, shower, and then go mentor these boys, put them on sports teams to keep them out of the street. So I'm used to seeing a black man that steps behind black children. It didn't matter whether or not they were his. He knew that if he didn't step in and do something, somebody else might get a hold of him. And y'all just don't think like that. Talking about we ain't like our grandmother. No, y'all ain't like our grandfathers. With all of their flaws, they stepped about community and they would look after kids. So y'all can go to the deepest depths.
The same way. Yep, absolutely. I had a father that was the same way. To this day, friends, like my mom and my dad was also very much they second mom and dad with the way that they showed up. And like, it's wild. It's so wild to me, like the whole queer and trans conversation and rebuttals and all of the rhetoric around how we're harming the gay agenda. We're trying to influence, like all of these things. It's like, y'all are not well. Y'all are not well.
No, it's something that rhymes with well, DL. Y'all need to stop playing. Y'all be telling us, listen, we are in a state that's like a new black renaissance, whatever you want to call it. Y'all can come out the closet. We will accept you. Everybody's accepted as who you are because you telling on yourself. I don't care what nobody says.
This isn't new. Like queer and trans people, this isn't new. You can date. This predates all of us. Many. You can go back and even though they're trying to erase, like there has been queer, there has been gay people, there have been people who were non-binary. You could go back and look at indigenous people, like non-binary people, or people that were like had two genders. They were looked at as both male and female. Like this isn't new.
I just thought about that just now.
It's just the fact as culture shifts and like people now are
it's the liberation behind it.
yeah, this is who we are. We here, and we not gonna hide. And that's, I said this one time. I was like, just say you want people to go back in the closet. Just say that. Just say that. Because I don't get people being like, I support you, or like, I don't care what you do. But the minute you see a gay or trans person on anything, then it's an agenda. We're fucking existing in the fucking world.
And nobody had a problem with us watching all these heterosexual sex scenes growing up, though, as little kids. Look, that didn't bother y'all at all.
I just said this at the opening of my scene, and it's funny because it actually was quoted in the St. Louis American. It got covered, and I was like, I go to plenty of straight shit, heterosexual shit. Go to plenty of hetero events, and I'll never walk on that bitch and be like, damn, it's hella straight. It's hella heteros in here. I don't do that stupid shit.
It's hella straight in here.
It's hella.
Y'all straight as hell with your straight ass.
Get out of here with your straight ass. I don't do that silly shit. I don't think about it like that. I think about it, y'all finna go out, I'm finna kick it with my people, I'm finna support this event, et cetera, et cetera. The way in which people are so, you can't, a motherfucker can't even, if someone identifies like, oh, they say this is their identity, they're hetero, whatever, they can't even be in a picture, talk to somebody, have a conversation, be in support of, be an ally without a motherfucker being like, oh, well, they must be gay or they must like that shit. Y'all are fucking weird, yo.
You think queer folks don't have a type, first of all? Everybody don't want y'all.
Please say it again.
Everybody don't want y'all.
Look, because a lot be like, don't nobody, nigga.
Your dusty ass.
Do not want you, okay? Do not. Do not flatter your motherfucking self, nigga.
You ain't gonna be happy that somebody gave flame the hell out of you.
And what's even wilder than that is a lot of times when it comes, I'm not speaking for everyone, just speaking for myself. But like, I've never been one to like go after straight. Like that's not my jam.
Right.
But a lot of, you want to talk about how many motherfucking straight women have come on to me or have a secret crush on me or have a girl crush on me?
So many straight women got crushes, and at this point they talk about it actually.
Or they got some shit going on with they nigga, and now they want to, nah, nigga, I'm not your motherfucking experiment. I'm not to get you over your shit. You know what I mean? But we don't talk about that shit. It's all, but
it's real.
Am I saying you trying to do a straight agenda? You trying to, I don't say that shit.
Who was the WNBA player or coach or somebody that had on the suit with the dreads? Who is it? Everybody be going crazy over them. I don't even know what her name is. But it's always straight women sharing it.
I know who you're talking about.
What is her name?
Her name just
the straight women want her. The straight women is on her. She put on them suits, them well-tailored suits, and let them dreads hang. The straight women be on her. Y'all definitely don't be wanting to talk about none of that. Or the fact that how Young Miami and Meg Thee Stallion, at some point they gonna bump purses.
So just like
it's coming.
So just like that happens with women, you know that happens with men.
I mean, the gay homeboys.
As much as y'all don't want to admit it,
no,
as much as y'all don't want to admit it, there's an attractiveness. And honestly, if we're gonna be real, it'd be a lot of like why people got so bothered by P-Valley with a part of the reason why people were so bothered by P-Valley with Murder and Teak over Murder and Uncle Clifford was because they were seeing visually, aesthetically seeing two very masculine, hard hood niggas that were gay. And niggas didn't know what the fuck to do with that because you're used to this masculine, feminine, however, right? Aesthetic. You know, it's the flip version for women because typically y'all just want to see two girly girl women, whatever. Right. Y'all don't even necessarily like seeing a mass presenting lesbian in a film. Y'all don't want that shit.
It's a type of lesbian you want.
It's a fantasy, right, that you're having because you want to be in the mix of that shit.
Right.
But y'all motherfuckers was fucked up because they didn't know what to do with seeing that. Now, to be fair, I saw the scene and I was like, well, damn, okay, y'all. Who did y'all talk to? Y'all was advised by somebody because that scene, okay, y'all had some gay advisors in there.
You had some gay advisors. It's the chemistry for me.
But motherfuckers didn't know what to do with that because you're used to seeing, and also because that shit is real. That's not made up. That's some real shit. There's actually hood ass niggas who are fucking gay. And it ain't just about I was in prison, so now this experience happened. No. It's all about the fact that now I'm out of prison and this experience is still happening. Because it's not just, because really honestly, if you're not gay, but you have that experience, that is really about wanting to have that whatever type of intimacy or get your nut off, right?
You just wanted it.
Once you're out, it's over, right? But if you continue that Like Little Murder is gay. It wasn't just to see the development even of his story, it was like, okay, like this wasn't just like you saw a cliff and then it was a thing. No, you are you're a gay man. Okay, cool.
Okay. It's really that simple.
Cool.
Okay.
All right. But like it's so wild the fact that now people, I've seen this stat so many times. If you a straight man watching P Valley, then what are you talking about?
I saw that.
Weird, yo. Like if that brings this level, like if that brings your Boosie levels of
Boosie levels, because man, ain't nobody gets hotter than Boosie.
Levels of like, I hate gay shit. Then like you need to check what's happening with you, because something's happening with you. Like Boosie is like, sir,
he doesn't want too much
experience, or something has happened to you. Because I've said this a million. If it's some shit that I don't fuck with, I don't get up and think about it. Like I don't get up in the top of the morning and be like, I don't think about that shit. So the fact that you get up in the top of the morning and you're talking about gay shit, you're talking about Lil Nas X and all of this shit, there's something going on with you, bro.
Right.
And so like, but also you the same nigga that thinks R. Kelly is the best thing since sliced bread, and you're upset that he's got 30 years, but you're also the same nigga that set your son out to be raped, to be assaulted by a whole grown-ass woman. Because we talking about grown-ass men and girls, but are we also going to talk about grown-ass women and boys? Because but then that's the double standard of what we're teaching our children. Because when it comes to grown-ass men and girls, it's like pedophilia, it's nasty, it's gross, it's disgusting, but y'all like and think it's cool for a boy to lose his virginity, quote unquote, because it's not losing virginity, it's being assaulted or raped. Because
nobody's gonna call it that.
But for him, you go so far as to make this happen because you just do not want your child to be gay. So you put them in positions well before they should, sexualizing them. But you want to talk about gay people? Y'all, okay.
Tell the truth, shame the devil. Tell the truth.
Y'all want to talk about gay people and over-sexualizing? Y'all do that shit from the jump.
You really do.
And that's another thing too, the big contradictions. Well, I mean, how does someone know that they're gay when they're this age? But the minute a little boy and a little girl is in pre-K, y'all
be talking about boyfriends and girlfriends all the time.
Your little girlfriend, y'all saying all that shit.
He gonna be a heartbreaker. He gonna be a heartbreaker. She gonna be a heartbreaker.
I'm so confused.
I'm ready for the ladies. Them little captions when the little boy got his little Easter suit on. I'm ready for the ladies. Y'all, it's the cherry picking for me.
Exactly. So stop. Y'all pick and choose the times in which I want to say this shit. Just fucking stop. Stop that shit, yo.
Y'all be full of shit. Y'all be and I was like, somebody was talking one day about little girls babies wearing tank tops or something. And I was like, my daughter is wearing she said like a little baby crop top outfit. I mean, with a certain length of skirt. But I was like, she's also 2 though. So what do you see besides a 2-year-old? Because I see a 2-year-old play. So if you see something different, we need to be having a different conversation. But it ain't about us, it's about you. So even when people do shit like that, I'd be like, you know what? I'm looking at you sideways.
For real. When we talking about looking at people sideways, cutting some things off, removing some people, it was when, not this last go round, but the go round before that with R. Kelly. I had to delete this guy I went to school with because he put up a stat. I'm paraphrasing, but something along the lines like, he said even like a 3-year-old, 4-year-old, I don't remember what number he said, 3, 4, 5, 6, I don't know. A child can say no. I said, okay. You're fucking disgusting.
My 2-year-old
the fact that it came out of your mouth makes me think that you
touched
are a fucking pedophile.
Because what does it look like?
Who the fuck constructs that in their mind and then types it? And puts up a stat like on some like ha type shit. That's not fucking funny.
It's not funny.
Fucking disgusting.
And my thing is, let's again math, right? You got 1,300, 1,500 Facebook friends. Let's do the math. Sorry, y'all, and feel how y'all want to feel about me saying this. It's some perverts sprinkled in that bunch. You cannot possibly think that you got 13, 15, 2,000 friends and it ain't some suspect characters in there. Let's just call a spade a spade. So when these conversations come out, people tell on themselves. Now you have a decision to make. You ain't said one. You said a couple of things over the course of a few months, situations, years. You are that person. I gotta cut you the fuck off. It's really that simple.
Yeah.
That like you are a fucking pervert. You a pervert.
you have been one, unfortunately, that probably has experienced abuse and have not dealt with that and been honest about their abuse.
Yeah.
Or you have been one to abuse, or both. Or like we said, you have been one who has enabled an abuser, or you have been one to has orchestrated it.
You have a story. You have a story. You
because
have a story.
there's just some things that like that's just not gonna come to my mind in reference to children, or in reference to a child or a youth or someone that's underage, like, or someone who is of age, and the shit that y'all constantly make sexual and make be a thing.
Yeah.
Like it's disturbing. It's disappointing. And
yeah,
again, like that type of stuff, we have to, again, these are the things that we have to speak to or have to call out and be like, this ain't fucking cool. But when you do that, you know, then again, so for me, I call myself a truth teller, right? But that comes with a cost, because that comes with people being mad or people feeling the way when it's a truth that you don't want to hear, right?
Right.
And I'm not saying that I haven't been, you know, like I said, I've been challenged myself. I've been challenged for my thinking. I've been challenged around, you know, how to speak to things, how to look at things at different perspectives. And like, well, wait, Kris, wait a minute, let's think about this, you know?
Yeah.
But there are some people who are not allowing themselves to be challenged or allowing themselves to like think about some of the shit that they're co-signing or allowing to be okay, or just saying, well, that's how it always been. Like to continuously bring up, well, y'all was letting grown ass men pick. Okay, but like the fact that you keep
what are you trying to accomplish by repeatedly saying this?
Like
where are you going with this?
It's so weird to me, because I'm like, yeah, and it wasn't cool.
Right.
It wasn't cool.
It was never cool.
And like and again, like this is a teenage girl versus an adult male.
Right.
So like I'm not getting the correlation. I'm not getting that being your rebuttal. I'm not getting somebody saying, hey, this was a thing, and then they say, well, when you was 16, you was fucking with this 28-year-old. Okay,
so basically you saying, okay, so you got molested. So why is you? I mean, I don't think people really understand. Like, bro, you know what you're saying, right? Do you realize what you just said? No, you not realizing what you're saying right now. It's sick. We got some sick ass people in our lives. And at some point, you just got to call a spade, and like,
and also what I'm realizing, just like I had to come to a point where I was like, you know, I'm not gonna have no more conversations or get white people to see black folks' humanity. There's some people that, as far as black folks, I'm not gonna keep having these conversations. Look, Harriet left some niggas.
I was gonna say, why you arguing with cats she would have shot?
Some of y'all niggas gonna get left, and that's just what it is gonna be. And we gonna get the motherfuckers that are there or want to get there. You know what I'm saying, and are working to get there. But some of y'all, I'm not gonna go back and forth with you about this.
The way folks got mad when the old boy got killed by his girlfriend, like that instance where for once black women, I hate this gonna sound bad, and it's just gonna be what it's gonna be. How black women collectively said, I'm gonna mind my business. We really starting to mind our business with those that don't wish us well.
Because it's wild to me, getting back to that, and even tying in like the gay shit, where it's like the way I go hard, like it's just as hard as I go for black women and girls, I go hard for black people, right?
You do.
But I don't think about like, oh well, what has this person done in their life, or what's their sexual orientation, or what's their identity. You're black, I show up. Fuck shit happen. Like that's just what it is for me, right?
Always.
But like too many motherfuckers don't do that, but they want to say they are for black people, rooting for black people, want to like, no, y'all fucking don't. Especially the Hotepi super faux ass pro black motherfuckers.
They are the worst.
And what's funny is, what's so wild about some of them is that y'all actually be sounding like white people.
Oh, they be white as shit.
The ideologies and stuff that y'all pick up, some of the ideologies that y'all pick up in the way in which y'all move and speak to things, you think it's from this free black mind, not realizing that a lot of that shit actually sounds like conservative white people.
It does.
Which is very fucking wild to me when it comes to marriage, when it comes to how you view the black family, when it comes to gay shit, when it comes to like, you sound like conservative ass white people.
Especially when we got on the Roe v. Wade. I heard that whole, you just got to watch who you lay down with. I said, hold on, so let me make sure I understand what's going on here. Because half of you are fathers. Your fathers who have situations going on, you are not in a great place with the mother of your children. And now y'all are making comments about women needing to.
Some of y'all niggas that don't want to wear a condom.
You shooting up people's clubs. They are limiting the sales on Plan Bs. Like you dirty as hell. You ain't been to nobody's doctor. You ain't had nobody's checkup in God knows how long. Ain't no telling what you are out here spreading because you're asymptomatic. You got shit laying dormant in your nasty nuts, and you fixing your mouth to speak about a woman's reproductive. Help me understand what's happening right now. How does that? How are we even having this conversation right now? You nasty. You look like you ain't even showered in a couple of days, let alone had a checkup. But you talking about who laying down with who? And I'm sitting here like, which one of y'all is giving these dudes ass? Who is sleeping with them?
God bless the straight women, cause thank God I don't fuck with niggas. So
I ain't touched one all 2022. I think I twerked on somebody a couple of weeks ago, but I'd be like, y'all know I ain't done nothing. And since Roe v. Wade, I ain't touched nobody. I don't know who I don't know who the next I don't know who I'm gonna bust it open for. I can't even tell you. It has not happened in 2022. It's a clean slate. I am a virgin. I am 40. So at this point, I am in a whole new decade in life. I'm a virgin.
Come on.
40-year-old virgin. I'm a 40-year-old virgin. And I'm looking at everybody like, what? He spoke on Roe v. Wade. I can't even get moist for you. My nipples can't even get hard for somebody. I'm like, how are y'all getting turned on by these cats that are saying these things? It's a drought. Somebody bought me a rose for my 40th, though. Shout out to my bestie Aisha. That rose ain't no joke.
So I've heard.
That thing took my ring. I said, where'd my ring go? I'm like, when is the last time I saw? Oh. So you just gonna snatch my jewelry? I don't even know where. I don't know where it went. I gotta look around the bed to find it. That rose ain't no joke. That thing that thing will mess your edges up. You be reaching for poles that don't exist. Off a toy. So me and that rose gonna be better. Thing got like 7 different settings. I said, oh, this is the game we playing. It's over for you Negroes for a minute. You better come paying some bills. You better come paying some deals. Somebody text me the other night. I didn't even know who it is. I didn't even save his number. Tomorrow, if you come to open my night, I'm going to get you a drink. Oh, thank you for the $12 you're going to fork out. But right now, I don't know that I can see myself dealing with you for the next 18 years. So, no, it's rough out here right now. So when you watching dudes talk about their thoughts on R. Kelly and McDonald's and single mothers and our reproductive system, it's just like, you know what? I'm going to probably go back in the house for the rest of the summer. It might be safe until we get a new batch of niggas.
Yeah, especially with the Roe v. Wade stuff that isn't even necessarily about it's way less about like children being born and just really about control. Like, it's really like, y'all are fucking wild. Cause like nobody's just like, yeah, kill the babies. Like that's not what's happening.
Nobody knows biology or anything like that either. So then there's that.
So like Roe v. Wade is, again, yes, that this has definitely been a moment to see some shit happens and you really see, okay, that's where you're landing on this. Got it.
And you gotta go. I just don't have space for you because you ain't gonna protect. At this point, if you know somebody is not a safe space for you in a friendship, anything like that, why are you holding on to them? What's the purpose? I don't care. I don't give a damn how long I knew you. You on some foolery. This is the chapter where we part ways. This is the bus. You got to get off and be okay with the fact that harmful people can get cut off and you don't have to feel a type of way about it. Because how you looking out for you when you keeping these type of people in your life? I think it's the big thing is like, especially in doing the type of work that you do, you a threat to my work. You a threat to who I work for. You a threat to who I protect. So we just can't do none of this, and that's just because it's not just the hashtag catchphrase and some shit that sound cute. Like this is something that's in my heart, in my spirit, in my gut. Like I really mean that, and like it ain't no play shit for me. So it ain't just for me to have. It is not just for me to have a debate about on fucking Facebook or Twitter or just for me to talk about on social media. No, like all the shit that I talk about that I push back for the most part, like I actually have done work or are currently doing work
to make this shit a little more right side up because it's all fucked up out here.
Right.
So like, I don't have time to sit up here and go back and forth with you and debate about it when half y'all niggas don't do shit but talk about it on your fucking like on social media networks. Like, I'm not gonna do that. I'm not gonna do that.
You arguing with me? You ain't even seen your kids today.
I'm just not. I'm not gonna do that.
And we
of
don't.
The different issues and intersections of work that I've done. And how they all intersect and tie in some type of way. But ultimately, in the end, it's about Black women and girls. It's about Black folks. It's about Black people being liberated. You know what I'm saying? And like, so I don't play about that shit. So when I speak about some shit, it's like, dude. But I also had to realize the times and at this point now of me managing that. When I check out of things, conversations that I'm not going to have, debates that I'm not going to have, niggas that I'm going to delete, whether on social media or in real life. Mm-hmm. And when I take breaks from stuff and just which way I'm going to go about moving forward. Like, right. Because this shit will fucking kill you, whether it's going to kill you, literally kill you or kill your spirit, kill your mental, all of that. Because it's like, damn, do any of y'all what? Like, this is how y'all, wow.
Yeah. This is how you feel.
And so it's interesting sometimes because it's like the circles that I'm in or the people that I'm in close relationship to or spaces that I'm in oftentimes, like most motherfuckers get it, right? But when I think about, that's actually a small group. That's the minority. It's not the majority. So right. When I look at the broader, when I go outside of that and I look at the broader thing and like, I'd be like, oh, actually niggas is hella fucked up out here. That's why I be laughing when people talk about gay people in the gender. I'm like, no, because most people in the world actually are very much still anti a lot of shit. So like, that's actually not true.
It can't be.
So like, stop.
Who's still the majority? It can't be.
This world is very much, it's shit, whole shit ton of patriarchy still, a shit ton of like phobias and isms and all of the things.
Right.
So like, actually, no. All of this, again, and y'all niggas be sounding like white niggas talking about make America great again. Y'all want to bring back all of this old, like y'all niggas be sounding like that low key and high key. When you're like, they're trying, okay.
Alicia Keys, like piano keys, all the keys.
Yeah.
But it's cool. And I realize I don't argue the way I used to. I remember I would just go round and round, but now I'm really like, and then when you realize sometimes people just want to get a reaction out of you too. Now we talked about this before. When you realize your smoke means something, you gotta be selective.
Especially people, when you see what they comment on different stuff, I could post all kind of shit. I could post about shit I'm doing. I can give inspirational posts. I can be giving like just speaking life, funny shit, whatever. The minute that I put up a thing about a thing, here come a nigga. It was this guy I had to like delete off my IG. I post all kind of shit, but then you want to come and have debates with me about Tupac or debates about, oh, I know, I had posted about Lil Baby. The Baby, excuse me.
Yeah.
The Baby and all that shit. And then you want to come and have this rebuttal about like, I'm canceling. I'm like, I'm not canceling him. First off, it was a funny fucking meme. I'm not canceling him. I don't give a fuck about him. He fucked up for multiple reasons. But I wasn't even going there with the post. The post was just some funny shit. I think what the meme said was like, if the Baby had just said, throw your hands in the air, wave him like you just don't care, he would have been cool. That shit was fucking funny to me.
Because he really would have been.
Yeah. So like, but then you turn this into like, I'm trying to like comfort a brother, and then you want to bring up other people that I support who've been problematic. You want to bring up Tupac because niggas know I love Tupac.
He had that in the tuck.
That, I've also, again, because I try to be real about some shit, even in my love, absolute love for Tupac that people.
That's my baby. I'll listen.
I've talked about the sexism, the patriarchy, the way in which he has harmed women, and not the rape, but just the ways in which he. So like, stop, nigga. I don't know what you're trying to do here.
But like, waiting for an opportunity to silence you. People that don't rock with you will sit and watch you, and it's so crazy how long they watch you.
Yeah, and then like, then he want to bring up like, you know, well, I know, because I'm like, you can't, the stuff that he was saying, you can't possibly know me. And I also need people to know, like, So yes, you might know the things that I may care about, the issues that I work on, et cetera, but ultimately you don't know me
You don't know me,
enough
cuz.
to think that you're finna have this with me. And we're not gonna do that because you don't fucking know me. I don't give a fuck where you saw me, what panel you was on with me, what event you came to. I don't care. Like that's not a thing. I just don't understand people that like you said, want to find ways to have these debates and get these rises out of you. I do that shit with somebody
Do it
else.
with somebody else.
Ultimately, you're not gonna change my mind on shit.
Right.
You're not gonna move me. We're not on a fucking debate team. Like we're not doing that shit. Like
I ain't getting no bag out of this. This ain't doing nothing for
so
me.
like,
Nothing for nothing I'm doing.
And I don't have the energy for it. I know where my values, my morals, my ideologies, and where that shit lies. I'm not saying that I can't. There's no room for me to evolve and grow because my growth is coming to me just talking about me being challenged around R. Kelly, around thinking about what it really means to do restorative and transformative justice, what that really looks like. But even in that, there has to be accountability.
There's still
there has to be work
that A word.
Correct form.
That's that A
word.
No,
I don't even do cancel shit.
They don't get it.
Now I might not fuck with a nigga shit.
Right.
But I'm talking about accountability, and I'm talking about calling out some shit that causes harm. If we say but we want to always go and jump and say what white people doing or what the next whatever. Well, what about his that shit? Get the fuck out of here. Some shit I don't understand why there has to be a rebuttal or a debate on. It could just be what it is.
Yeah.
And let that be that.
But we know what it. But we know what it is. The thing is, we know what.
And like you said, and you're not realizing who you're silencing, what person's story, how you're triggering someone,
right?
How you're silencing someone, who has been harmed. And it ain't just women that have been fucking harmed. That's the funny part. As much as men and women who y'all just like, there's black folks that fall into and prescribe to and operate within white supremacy and whiteness. The same thing for women, how y'all prescribe and fall into patriarchy and sexism and things like that. Y'all aren't even realizing this shit. You're not even realizing the people that you're continuously harming because you don't allow you're ignoring and silencing people's stories and experiences.
And they don't care. The thing is, they don't care. So for me to say, you know what, it's just simple as, you know what, you don't care. And I'm gonna make a decision, and this is how we move forward, and this is how we gonna operate moving forward. The name of the game is boundaries, so it's gonna be real simple. But girl, we can do that. Y'all know we can talk about
one last
this.
Thing you said it. One last thing, I promise I'm done. And when I was doing economic justice work, and we were talking about raising the wage, 15, all of that, and then there was some people was like, well, people do this, they shouldn't. And people burn all that type of debates and rebuttals. And I finally just started saying, yo, if you don't want people to if you don't feel like people should make a living wage, then you literally want people to die and be in poverty. Well, why are you putting it? That's what it is. That's what it is. That's what it is for me.
That's what it is.
Because nobody should work and be poor. I don't give a fuck what they do. How much education that they don't have, whatever. Nobody should work and be poor. Nobody should be poor, period. But I'm saying if you working poor that's fucking insane to me.
Yeah.
So some shit is that extreme for me.
No, it is. We just
there's no if
we
you
want
don't
to be
think
white so bad.
Have a living wage. If you don't think everyone should have a fucking home. If you don't think everyone should have healthcare. All of these different pieces that actually ain't radical shit that they try to say is radical. Then ultimately you want people to be fucking dead. And when you put it like that, people be like, "What? That's how I look at it."
And there's no other way. I mean, it's not up for debate. Y'all either
you don't give a fuck.
You either for black people or you ain't. You either for black people and all black people or you ain't. And if you're not,
period. Because ultimately, it's about people that are like you. You don't give a fuck about po black hood ghetto black folks. You don't give a fuck about queer trans black folks. You don't give a fuck about black folks that may have some type of disability. All these different pieces. Y'all don't be caring about that. Y'all it's motherfuckers that you deem educated enough, pretty enough, straight enough, small enough, whatever the fuck it is.
Right. Point blank.
Yeah. Period.
You obviously, y'all give people that are doing the work for black people their flowers and cut the weeds.
Because you already know, I don't even be hitting up. I was like, look, let me Thank you for giving me the time to have a soapbox, because I was tired of typing this shit. I was like, I'm not gonna be steady. I'm not having these. Look, I just started sharing posts that I've already shared a year, 2, 3, 4 years prior. I'm like, wow, we in the fucking Twilight Zone again. We talking about this shit again.
I was literally making a reel as you texted me, and I was like, game time. Game time. So y'all already know.
And what's wild is some people will listen to this and still be like, fuck what they talking about.
I'm gonna piss y'all off with these snippets. I can't wait.
Fuck what they talking about. Y'all know what the fuck they talking about. Her gay ass. She don't even like no fucking dick. No, you know, it's what. Hey, you know what? We
gonna have fun with it. We gonna have fun with this.
In the end of the day, it's about us getting free. It's about us being our best selves. And just like I always challenge myself to be my best self. Right. That's really what's it about. But ultimately, if you ain't about some of y'all think about that shit. And if you don't want to change and you feel like that's cool, but just know what can come with that.
That's pretty much, and that's what it is. Oh, and I meant to do this at the beginning, because I do it at the beginning now. Now I'm doing it at the end. In case somebody is new here, we got some new subscribers. Tell them where to find you.
Yes. You can find me on Twitter, Kris is Black Star. You can find me on IG. My public IG page is I am Kris Blackmon, and my private, not public IG, because I add some people over there too, is Kris is Black Star as well. Kris with a K. So yeah, follow me, hit me up, support what I'm doing. Support Cookie and her fucking podcast. She's doing amazing fucking things.
Doing what we can.
Come on her.
We got featured this week.
Featured in the
Voyage Dallas. I'm very excited about that. You know, I'm new to Dallas, and the way y'all are welcoming the kid, I'm here for it. It's a big deal to be included as a hidden gem here. So we gonna keep doing what we doing. And y'all know y'all gonna keep seeing Kris. At this point, every season, or at least twice a season, you're gonna get a Kris sermon. Come on. That's just what's gonna happen, because y'all got the game fucked up. That's just what it's gonna be. So thank you for coming on, Kris.
You know what, I appreciate you so much. Seriously, you have always supported me. You've always poured into me, lifted me up, shouted me out. Be like, quit being so fucking humble. Like all of the things. I hate it. All of the things, and I thoroughly appreciate it. I love you, and I'm so happy with the growth that you're doing with this podcast, because you have amazing guest topics, the shit you hitting on, allowing me to come in and just basically have a fucking venting session on your podcast today. Is really just what this was. It's
really educational, but we can just we can throw whatever type of language we need to throw.
Because people be like, you should do a podcast. I'm like, I'll just get on yours.
Honestly, look, she really ain't got to do that. Like, she do enough. Like, that's the problem. Y'all always asking motherfuckers to do shit. Throw some money at. So you want somebody to do something? How about throw some money? You see how busy she is. But support all the shit you see her doing already. Throw some money. We don't want the money that jingles. She need the money that folds. So on that note, I want to thank y'all for tuning in. Remember to subscribe on YouTube, the Dirty Back Podcast. We still in a pandemic. Apparently there's new variants coming around. I know we outside, but where applicable, wear your mask, socially distance, wash them hands. And when you get a free moment, because y'all got too much going on, please remember to clean out your dirty bag. Till next time.
Well, darling, there's only one God.